and welcome to this week's episode of Ask Steph. I'm Stephanie Lillian, and every week I go through your most commonly asked yoga and meditation questions. This week, the question that we will be addressing is, should I practice yoga while I'm menstruating or on my period? I've been asked that question many times by female yogis in my classes, and it's definitely one to consider, especially when you get into a very routine or regular daily yoga practice. The way that I like to address this question is really looking at the scope of what your practice entails right now. If, for example, you are practicing rigorous yoga, in other words, yoga that makes you sweat and is for a long period of time, almost on the daily basis, then I would say you want to take a break or do a more restorative version of yoga for the first 3, maybe 2 days of your menstrual cycle. Why is that? The reason is that, first of all, when we're menstruating as women, it takes a lot of energy within our body to do. And a lot of the time, some of us feel very exhausted or fatigued those first couple days. So putting on our routine of a rigorous daily yoga practice on top of that can really wear out our bodies and deplete our energy levels. On the other hand, as well, when you look at it from more the flow of prana within the body, so I'm speaking from the example of the Ashtanga primary series and the Ashtanga other series as well, but I'm currently working within the primary series. But when you're working within the primary series of Ashtanga, we lock the Mula Bandha, so we draw the energy in and up so it doesn't deplete out from within us, and at the same time we build this internal heat and fire with the Ujjayi breath. We create this cycle of prana energy, cultivating it within the body. However, when we are menstruating and we're starting our cycle, the body is pressing that energy out. So we're kind of going with opposite directions. We're cultivating this fire and bringing this energy in within the body, and then we're also trying to rid ourselves of energy or stuff that no longer serves us. So generally, in the first 3 days of the cycle, we take a break and we rest so we can let our body do what it naturally needs to do. If you are practicing yoga and you're not doing it very rigorously, if you will, and when I say rigorous, I mean a practice where you are cultivating this internal fire, this internal heat, and you're sweating and you're really working your body. If you're not doing that, if you're more practicing along the lines of just a couple times a week, or you're practicing more restorative, relaxed versions of yoga, then I'd say you really have to judge on your own body. General rule of thumb, take the first 3 days of your cycle off just to be safe. However, if you do feel like you want to incorporate your more restful practices of yoga into your routine, that's totally fine. It's always good to tune into our bodies and flow within, no pun intended, with when we're practicing our yoga practice and still on our cycle. So again, general rule of thumb, take the first 3, maybe 2, again, you have to judge, days of your cycle off from your yoga practice. It doesn't have to be completely off. You can focus on slower, more meditative practices. But please also look at your life. Are you pushing and doing so much stuff, and during your menstrual cycle, when it hits, you just use medicine and make the pain or whatever is go away, and you tune out and you let go and you just are totally disconnected from your body? If that's the case, maybe you question how you're approaching this amazing cycle within. Maybe you take a day to rest. Notice what your mind says when you tell it that you need rest. Do you find yourself up against a wall saying, I can't rest, I don't have time to rest, I have so much stuff to do? There's a lot of things that can come up, especially within women, and feeling the need to serve others and do things for others. That happens when we begin to address the cycle and this topic of resting potentially. So notice what comes up for you. Be gentle with yourself. It's okay to take rest. The body needs rest, not only during our menstrual cycle, but in general in life. It's okay to take time for yourself, to give yourself what you need in self-care, self-love, because only when we give ourselves what we need can we fill our tank and then give it to the world. So I hope this helps answer your question around whether you should or shouldn't practice yoga on your menstrual cycle. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you so much for spending your time with me here today. I will see you next time. Namaste.